Question. So y'all say El George is the best coney. Why the fuck there's no cucumbers on my salad? Or no onions? Why would I want a bed of lettuce with cheese and chicken and egg? And I ain't supposed to be eating chicken. What I've noticed, the things that we use to self-soothe, more times than not, we resort to what's comfortable, familiar. So yeah, out of convenience, I just be eating bullshit I shouldn't eat. But also, I think it's like a self-sabotage thing, because I know chicken is going to make my stomach hurt because I don't eat it, and I still eat it. But now, I've been eating it to the point where, like, every blue moon, it's still been consistent enough so where my stomach probably won't even hurt as bad, which is sad. Vegetarian, pescatarian, now it's whatever the fuck I want to go by. Shout out to Bentley. That's why I call myself a flexitarian. I have a flexible diet. Most times than none, I eat plant-based pescatarian, and I mix the two. I eat more salmon than anything, more than shrimp. So yeah. How are y'all? I feel like I'm so behind on content. I have so many things to edit and post. Like, I should have been doing content. But something provoked me to set this phone up right now. Like, I feel like I had something I needed to say. I'm not really sure what it was. At the moment, I feel the need to discuss, like, I guess, stress management and, like, coping mechanisms, because that's what I just started talking about. And when you're on a journey to, like, trying to get right with Christ, you gotta be careful what you resort to in times of, like, stress. Most times the advice is to pray. I've noticed that. Like, people be like, when you fear you're going to fall short of sin, or when you feel tempted, like, a lot of people ask, like, well, what do you do? And then everyone says pray. And I want to know, what do we do in a physical sense? You know what I'm saying? The short answer is choose. You are constantly, every day of your life, being faced with a choice. It's our responsibility to choose what we're going to do. So, pray about it for sure. Keep praying about it. But you're not going to get an immediate answer. You're not going to get immediate relief, from the thing. The desire is not going to immediately leave. I'm learning that still, because I make that mistake every time. You can't just pray it away, brother. You can, but you also have to make a choice every day to just choose to be better and refrain from certain things, you know. Do y'all like mukbangs? I don't watch them like that. But I know so many people who like them. I used to watch Be Love. Let me act like this on my line real quick. You guys see that? Got the pita bread. It's not hot no more. It was so good when it was hot. I don't know why that shit feels so disgusting to me. I'm gonna be back when I'm done eating so I can actually talk. Something I do feel led to speak on right now is the obvious conversation of when you're trying to get your life on track, and you're trying to be more connected to God and get in alignment with the path of righteousness, the attacks that come. Every day, like I said, we have a choice. When you make a choice to choose God, choose Jesus, choose righteousness, I guess, or just choosing to also just end a cycle, like not do the same thing. The devil comes, the opposition comes, challenge comes, and it comes sometimes through the people closest to you. So it's really challenging to navigate, because you can feel tested and triggered, and a lot of times you feel cornered. Oh, ran out of storage, sorry. A lot of times you feel cornered into a certain reaction or response, kind of like, damn, I really didn't have a choice, but to defend myself. But what it is teaching me personally, meekness and the power of meekness. Meekness is not weakness. But that's so hard for me because I am passionate. I'm a fire sign. I know everybody doesn't believe in astrology. I do. I don't idolize it. I just know that it's something that we've used since ancient times to tell important dates. And so one being my birthday. So you know what I mean? I'm an important date. So yeah, I know that I'm fiery. I'm a lot. I come with a lot sometimes, you know what I mean? So I've never really had, I won't say never, a meek period in my life. I've gone in and out of it, but like when I was younger, I was a lot more shy, a lot more quiet. Not when I was a little bitty kid, because I think that I was vibrant. But throughout life, you kind of feel like muted in a way. Like things happen where you don't feel safe to speak, And so like a lot of times the reactions that I've given people, especially in a setting of disagreement, has been so fiery that it doesn't always leave a good taste in people's mouth about me. And that can sometimes like make you feel like you shouldn't respond. But the thing is, even though you're not responding, it's also your responsibility not to internalize things, because that can just lead to an explosive episode. Like later on, you could just end up like wigging out, snapping, and you didn't even mean to, and you don't even know how you got there. You know what I mean? So it's really, really hard to see people act out, treat you a certain way, and just know this is a them thing. It's not a me thing. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we do get caught up in taking things personal. And like I read the 4 agreements, and one of the 4 agreements was don't take anything personal. And that one was probably the hardest one for me. The rest of them were like, okay, yep, get that. But don't take anything personal was hard, because they were basically saying even if it's personal, it's still not personal, because people might do things to you and they might, personally attack you for things. But ultimately, it's that person's problem, and it really does not reflect to you. It just affects you because you're like the mirror or the target or just the topic that day. Like people move on and cause chaos in so many areas of their life when they're just a chaotic person or they're just unhappy. You're just a casualty a lot of times, And I think that's like by your choice, Like you have a choice to respond. You have a choice to reflect. You have a choice to deflect. You have a choice to internalize. You have a choice to observe it or absorb it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be absorbent. You want to be observant. You can pay attention to things. You can see how people are the way they are. And then you know who they are. So at that point, learning how to deal with them according to such, man, listen, easier said than done, but it has to happen, because people will really like play on your top. And the whole time it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you already know, like I already know how this person is. They're loud, they're disrespectful, they're rude, they're this, they're that. And it don't mean you just take that shit. But what it does mean is, because I know this about you, I have to move and act and treat you, like I know this about you. Because at the end of the day, like, I've been really, really guilty of coming out of situations expecting a different result, knowing that there was not another result available for me. Like, when it came to these people, it was not what you see was what you got. You know what I'm saying? What you see is what you get. It's nothing special. It's nothing different. What you see is what you're going to get. And so it became a point where I'm like, Destiny, what are you gonna do? You gonna keep letting everybody get you off your square, get you off your, you know what I'm saying? It was so many times I've been thrown off by other people, and I allowed them to fuck up things for me, situations for me, opportunities for me. I've allowed people to provoke me to a point where I couldn't come back from, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think I got to a point where it came to like anger, because within spirituality, we learned that, you know, all of our emotions should be harnessed and used for good or transmuted. And now with me going in like a different walk of faith, I believe that a lot of that stuff that I was trying to do, it ended up being just suppression. Like I said that I was transmuting anger and using it and channeling my rage, but like I really was just numbing that shit. Like, I didn't transmute a damn thing. I was really just taking shit and I'm gonna transmute this into that, into that. I could say that all I want, but if that's not what's happening, that's not what's happening. And when you've been through a lot of trauma, that's something you have to intentionally put energy into in order to change it. It's not something you could just kind of speak a mantra over and it'll just become, you know what I mean? If you've been triggered your entire life by one thing, or let's say your entire life you've had this festering anger and frustration within you, feeling disappointed, let down by people you love, you feel betrayed, you feel this, you feel that, you feel like no one really cares, no one supports you, right? Let's say that that's like all the heaviness you're holding. That's a long time to be holding that shit. So to just be like, well, I'm going to transmute this one situation that triggered all of this that I'm holding. I'm going to channel this. I'm going to transmute it into positive energy, a good day, more money, creativity, blah, 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 all this stuff. At some point, it ends up just feeling like words because we're not actually putting effort and energy into changing it. The intention is there. We put intention into changing it. Like within speaking, you know what I'm saying, mantras and manifestation, there is intent. But the work actually has to be done. And a lot of the times, you know, like, it's interesting, like when it comes to manifestation, I'm kind of like still figuring out how I feel about it because I feel like it's a powerful tool and it is real. But it doesn't mean it was God's will for my life. Like, I've manifested a lot of things. I've manifested cars. I manifested an apartment. I've manifested relationships that didn't even know that I was, you know what I mean? But like, I was flat out like, I want to fall in love. I want to, you know, I want a person. And it can't, all of the things, they come. Is it God's will is the question. And that's another topic for another day. We'll get there. But back to the subject at hand, internalizing emotions is a very dangerous game. I was about to cuss. It's a very dangerous game because anything could set you off and make you pop, and you'll even be shocked. Like, damn, I've done things like, and it don't be like crazy shit or nothing, but like I've still had emotional reactions to things that I did not expect, and I'd be so threw off. I'd be like, I didn't know I was this upset about this. I didn't know that this could upset me like this. I did not know that I was this angry. No one told me anything. How didn't I know? You know? But we don't know until it comes up, and let me see. We really don't know until it comes up, until it's shown to us. So anyway, back to the initial point. What I've learned is ignoring people is not the only solution to this. It's also learning how to check in with your emotional self and tell yourself what's going on around you, what's happening, and how you can keep yourself from being wound up in it. Because I get wound up in emotions a lot. I'm a very emotional person. I feel a lot. So it definitely got to a point where I had to like think, like, do I even have energy to give this reaction right now? Because so many times I was so drained, down to the ground, tired. I still gave it my all when it came to defending myself, and it felt worth it. And I was just telling my therapist, to this day, it still feels worth it. A lot of those friendships or those people that I cussed the fuck out or went off on, I didn't want them in my life no way, because when I found out how they felt about me, it hurt, you know? And that's part of the reason why they got that emotional reaction. Let me slow down. That emotional reaction from me, because how dare you be smiling in my face and you feel like this about me, weirdo? But as hard as it is when it comes to giving it to God, it makes all the sense. That's a long-term benefit to a short-term problem. Giving it to God, letting him handle it, letting him choose, or you know what I'm saying? Let him dish it out. You don't want to be God. It's too much. It's a heavy cross. We're not here to be that. We're here to be us and be in submission to God's will. You know what I'm saying? So within that, I know that fighting my battles myself has hurt me a great deal. So I'm to the point now where emotionally I have to learn how to surrender to God and allow him to fight for me. And part of that trust that comes in with the divine, like trusting the divine, actually trusting God, is trusting you to handle these situations when I choose to be quiet like you told me to. God tells us, turn the other cheek. And he say, turn it again. Now look, I ain't even gonna play like I'm turning cheek everything down. But I mean, God's still working on me, you know? And we all human. And like, by all means, defend yourself, but do not put yourself, in emotional, reactive environments and situations with people who honestly could give a fuck less. They could care less about ruining your day or your week or your month or your life. A motherfucker will ruin your life. Excuse my language, but dead ass. A person will ruin your life. Your life, and go about theirs. A person will ruin your life and go about theirs. They'll be completely comfortable with the fact that they left you trying to figure it out, not knowing what was next, not knowing what was up, not knowing if you were loved. They don't care about the confusion they left you in. It's a part of their reality. Their entire environment is confusion. Why would they give a fuck about the confusion they caused you? The disruption they caused you. Let's get into that. Disruptive energies and spirits. People are disruptive. When I'm around people and they're just really, really disruptive, I instantly get uncomfortable and anxious, because why are you just disrupted? Like, and sometimes it's even people who like just cut you off just to speak. It could be as small as that, and it could be something as big as like completely ignoring you in order to speak. And it's bigger situations than that, but like, it's wild. It's so hard to like wrap your head around. Like, people have disruptive energies, and you have to pay attention to that in the physical realm, because it will manifest in the spiritual realm. When you get around somebody and it disrupts your energy, take heed to that. Remember that. That's the feeling you want to hold on to. Oh, you throwing off my whole little vibe. I had a good morning. Why am I so dismantled, uncomfortable? I feel chaotic. You're making me anxious. And you know, it's so crazy. I've had people in my life where I was like that for them. I disrupted their energy. I made them very uncomfortable, and I did not understand it. And I'd be like, just don't be bothered with me. If I'm disrupting you like that, I wouldn't want me around. I wouldn't want to be bothered with me. Don't make yourself feel like you got to be bothered, because you don't. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think I'm far off the subject at this point. But yes, submit your worries and your problems unto God. That's number one. That is a long-term fix to a short-term problem. When people try you, give it to God. Pray for them, because they need it. Pray for yourself so that you can continue to be in a good space, because you're not where you used to be. You know what I'm saying? I'm continuously trying to change. I'm trying not to cuss nobody out. I ain't cussed nobody out in a little minute. Actually, I cussed somebody out the other day. I ain't gonna lie. I just thought about it. But it wasn't like a real passionate cuss out. It was just like passive. It was just like, I just meant what I said, you know. But still, my point is, God's gonna work on you. But that's number one. Number two, what was number two? Pay attention to the energies that disrupt you physically, environmentally, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. If you feel offset, pay attention. Something might be being revealed to you about that person, and like, take heed to that. Don't be afraid to distance. You know what I'm saying? I just said so much. Number 3 is protect yourself. Because like I said, the enemy will use the people closest to you to try you and try to cause upheaval, and sometimes even cause disruption and chaos and confusion within that specific relationship with that person. Sometimes you two being on the same accord and being on the same page is so powerful that the enemy comes against it and causes a combative energy between the two of you. Now, if it's consistent, or if it's more than once, if it's like this is like, we just can't get along, that ain't the same. But if it's something where it's like, you know for a fact that this person's trying, you're trying, and for some reason you're just not seeing eye to eye, you know, pay attention to that as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, I definitely feel like it's the spiritual warfare going on. There always is, you know. But this season specifically, there's so much spiritual warfare, you know. So we really, really, really have to protect ourselves, and we have to be mindful, very mindful, very demure. We have to be mindful of these entities and these spirits running rampant. I had a dream. Holy Spirit gave me a dream about this legion of entities. They were like some like zombie monster hybrids in my dream. They are literally, the message is, because we're not going to get to my dream, because listen, this is the message. There is a legion of entities. There is a legion of entities specifically attacking women relationships, trying to cause combative, aggressive, disrespectful, and disruptive energies between women. It is literally attacking women. It wants us to specifically to be separated, to feel like we can't connect. There is something coming up against the collective energy of sisterhood. So be mindful of that. I had a very detailed dream about that. It was very evident. I was trying to warn people and they weren't listening to me. And so like, I do feel the need to share that. Because I've told, like, you know, people close to me and stuff like that, but I want to actually put it out there, you know, for whoever's listening. Keep in mind that, like, if you and your mom, you and your sis, you and your friend or sister or cousin or random person you don't know, keep that in mind, that there's spirits operating, trying to cause a disagreement and a disruption to women specifically. But with the knowledge, you know, we're equipped, you know, and God always gives us the tools. So, you know, be encouraged, be of good faith, and knowing that you're taken care of no matter what. But just know, you know, as you continue on your path, you're going to be tested by people. It's not going to stop. I have been being tested so much, and it's because I'm going to therapy as we speak to heal my past trauma, my emotional damage, and my reactive anger. I get really, really, really reactive, like when I'm triggered. And I realize I have way more triggers than I was aware of, you know? So just be careful, be mindful, be very demure. I can't even get it out because I'm not supposed to be playing. Just be aware Be very mindful. And keep that connectedness, because we need each other right now. Like, there's earth angels all around us. Well, some of us are earth angels. We are here to help each other and help the collective. And so, peace and love to y'all. Jesus loves you. God loves you. The Most High Yahweh loves you. I love you. Okay, if you're watching this right now, I love you. Thank you for being here and accepting me in my fullness. I'm working on some things, you know, and I'm really, really excited to continue to be transparent in my walk so that people can see the transformation that is taking place in my life. But yes, I love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. Bye.